Can I taste this?
Yes.
Does it taste good?
I think it's fine.
Cerise?
It's cherry lime.
Just say cherry lime, not cerise limon. Oh, that tastes like cough syrup.
Okay, so what episode are we on? I think this is Eppy 9.
I don't know, we took a long break.
And who knows how long.
Even more.
This was a long break between recordings, but then it will also be a long break between uploads. This is the penultimate episode before the season finale.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought this was the season finale.
I think this is episode 9. If I have the numbers correct.
In the season finale.
There's definitely a cliffhanger. Okay, so for today, though, we are going to be recounting our favorite moments of 2018. 2018? 2018. Our favorite moments of 2018.
Yeah, get it right. Definitely 2018.
As soon as I said it, I was like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it like that.
It's just too long, and yeah, don't.
Okay, so the format for this, we have our top 5 moments plus a couple honorable mentions. We're just going to take turns going back and forth, leading up to our number one moment. Now, I'm just going to have a disclaimer right at the beginning.
I was going to say, you're going to say the same disclaimer I have, don't you?
Well, I have 2 disclaimers. No, I don't. I have 1 disclaimer. I very much cheated on my number 1 memory.
What's that mean? That was not what I was going to say. I didn't cheat.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say that I could very well be missing something. Either like a moment or something with someone, or also the fact that because people aren't in my top moments may not mean that they're not. You know, I didn't want to make this a ranking of sorts, but it's just arbitrarily ranked by what I can remember.
That's like a feel-good disclaimer. My disclaimer is that I cheated.
Yeah.
So.
Well, how did you cheat, though?
I just want to warn you up front that when we get to my final
is it not
moment,
like a moment?
Well, you'll see. And so then hopefully some of your satisfaction or dissatisfaction will be alleviated by this disclaimer.
I don't think it will. Now don't know what to expect now.
And I will say, for the other thing, this is not a disclaimer. This is just the way that I set it up. The way that I have chosen my memories in particular is I wanted to get some sort of moment that captured different facets of my life. You did that too?
No, that's something that I knew you would do.
Oh, okay. So
mine's not like that.
So I think you should start.
Okay, start with an honorable mention.
Yes.
So I have 2 honorable mentions. Okay, my first one, which will literally be a second because we've already discussed this on the podcast, and this is not a necessarily good moment. In fact, it may be one of the worst moments of my life. But I felt like I had to mention it and rank it on the list because it was just so, I don't know, just made such an impact. But I'm talking about when I passed out on the plane in Las Vegas. And like I said, that was probably the worst moment of my life because I remember when it happened, I thought, I'm dying and I never want to experience this again. But I thought it deserved a little mention as a very significant thing that happened to me in 2018.
Okay, all right.
And that's all. We don't need to discuss it anymore. We can move on.
Yeah, but you do want to be able to look back at this time and say, like, I almost died.
Yeah, essentially. Okay. Almost died on a plane to Las Vegas.
Okay, well, I guess it's a good segue for my first honorable mention, which is our Las Vegas vacation.
Oh, okay.
So Las Vegas family vacation didn't actually make the top 5 moments, but I did think that it deserved a shout out for being a really nice trip. And specifically, I think the best part of that trip for me was the food in Las Vegas. I had a lot of really, really good food. Not the company,
not like the great people.
I mean, no.
Okay. Well, at least you're honest.
If I said that, then it's like every memory, it's like, well, but really, it was about the people who surrounded me. Which is like, okay, obviously, yes, people are important, but
But food is more important.
I'm giving a shout out to something that was extra special for that particular vacation.
Gaia. Okay.
All right.
No way else to segue from that. Is that all you wanted to say about it?
I mean, I guess so, yeah.
I feel like I knocked you down a bit because of the food.
Crucify me in the comments, yeah.
Okay, well, my other honorable mention, which I didn't include on my top 5 list, but I thought it was important because it's been a big part of my life for the past month, is Fallout 76.
Oh, God.
Oh. And, I mean, it's kind of weird that I'm putting this on a top list, but it's a... how do I describe it? It's a great but terrible game. It's a greatly terrible game. And I love all the old Fallout games. Well, 3, 4, and New Vegas.
The old ones.
We don't have to talk about the computery ones. But they're a really big... They're my favorite video game franchise. They're, I love it when they come out. And I'm always excited to play it. And this one was cool because it's the first time I got Xbox Live. So now I'm playing with some people that I don't know. But that's fun. Making some new friends. But keeping the old. It's all good.
That's a good wrap up. Okay. I think that's a good one.
And you can attest that I have that's been a lot of my life for the past month.
It's definitely become a big part of your life since you got it. So, yeah, that's a good one.
I do love it. But I didn't want to put it in an actual top 5 list.
Yeah.
Because that would make me look a little weird.
I think that I would make fun of you for that.
Yeah, that's why I just an honorable mention.
So, yeah, good choice. Good placement, good choice. Okay, my second honorable mention, and this one was pretty tough to not make it into the list for me, but my second honorable mention was the group trip that me and my friends took to Busch Gardens. So in October, we went to Busch Gardens while they were doing their Halloween event. The whole park is decorated like Halloween. There's all sorts of extra actors they've hired and haunted houses they've erected. And it was just a really, really fun day where we spent the whole day at the park riding all the different rides, eating junk food and playing games, and basically just having a laugh the whole time. Basically one of those perfect days when you look back on.
I mean, but it could have made it even more perfect if I was there.
Anyways.
Okay. It's all good.
If you do this for every memory, you're gonna be disappointed. They don't all include you.
But I wanted to make it like a rolling joke of every memory is better with me there.
All right.
Yep. Okay. And onward.
Sorry, I didn't know how to play off of that, so.
Anything else? Did anyone throw up on the roller coaster? Or win any stuffed animals?
No, actually, nothing crazy happened. Nobody won anything. Nobody threw up. But it was just a really good day, and it was with a lot of people that I really do care about and have a lot of fun hanging out with. So, really quality time without you.
Okay. Yeah, because actually, if I think about it, you know that you also went to Busch Gardens with me and Mom and Dad this year. But that one's not on the list.
Yeah, that's true. And I think there's a couple things that set that apart. First of all, the Halloween event specifically, I just remember thinking that this was the first time that I've ever gone to a theme park during a seasonal event like that. And it was truly outstanding. They went above and beyond trying to make everything Halloween themed, which was amazing. I've never seen anything like that. Secondly, that we spent so long at the park. We were there for probably 9 hours, I think, at least. We were there a whole day.
That seems like a lot.
Between driving and going to the park, it took me from 7 a.m. until midnight, at least.
That just sounds exhausting.
And then when we went to Busch Gardens as a family, my favorite part of that trip was probably actually to drive down, which was a lot of fun because you and I drove down together.
Oh no! Oh no, that should have been one of my memories.
Oh, okay.
Oh no!
I thought I spoiled it.
No, but I forgot about it. Oh, but I love that drive. That was a really good drive.
It's not one of my memories either. But,
oh wow, okay, so we both.
But looking back, that was my favorite part of the trip, I think, because we just listened to my music playlists, and we ended up taking a back road because the highway was like shut down from accidents, and so we got to see like a lot of cool scenery.
Opaquacan.
Yeah, whatever that town
that
was.
places that I want to live.
Anyways,
yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's what sets it apart from other trips.
Okay, well maybe I could rewrite the one that I was gonna write, or just do right now and say that car ride.
No.
But I like that a little bit more than the one I was. Well, okay. Well, I'll tell you that one. So that's we'll put a slash. It's that / what I'm about to tell you now.
Okay.
And this is very, very recent, and by recent I mean it happened yesterday at our family Christmas.
Okay.
My grandma, for one of her gifts, well, your grandma too, I guess. I guess I shouldn't own her only.
That's fine.
She opened a box, and on the box was an earwax candle kit. And essentially it was a gag box that you can buy just the box for, a couple dollars and then put the actual gift inside. But it was hilarious because she didn't realize it was a gag gift for a long time, and so she read the whole box to us. And my favorite part was where it said how it would take 12 AA batteries or something to operate this.
No, it was like 12D batteries.
12D, yeah. Something. It was just really funny. And I don't know, it was just like the most I've ever seen Grandma laugh before.
Yeah.
And she just seemed like so genuinely happy. And I always love going down there because they're always so happy to have us there, and that, the family can get together. And it was just, I don't know, I loved seeing her. It was just a great little moment. But we'll slash that with also the car ride because I really like that car ride.
I gotta say, with the earwax candle set, I was actually totally suckered in also.
Actually, yeah, I forgot. I wanted to ask you because I knew it was a gag because Uncle Bob had told me.
Yeah, so I was unaware that it was a gag gift, and I thought it was just realistic enough where I was like, this is totally the type of like joke gift that you would get somebody that's like, it's really meant to be a joke, but it's actually a real product as well.
The thing.
And I gotta say, in retrospect, I'm pretty embarrassed about it because on the box it said that you could produce 4 to 10 ounces of earwax per night using the device, and I thought that was just an outlandish amount of earwax in a night, but I still believed it.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because I could hear your reactions to it, and I was like, I'm not sure if he knows that this is a prank or not, so I think he might think it's real, which just made it even better. Because there was like a couple, I think the word hadn't gotten around to the whole family, so some of us knew, and then I don't know if you or some of the other cousins knew and things like that, so I thought it was funny that.
Well, so I could also tell. I could tell that our cousins were like laughing before she opened the box. Like they already knew that it was a joke. And so I thought, oh, this is really cute. Like they all picked out this gift together as a joke. And so they think it's really funny. And then she's going to get a real present also. So I didn't realize that it was just a prank box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was a good family memory.
All right. So that was your number 5, or was that honorable?
That was number 5.
Okay. So my number 5 moment of the year, for this I chose a personal and a career related item. So my number 5 moment of 2018 is my trip to San Diego. So back in, I guess, the early spring of this year, I was interviewing with a company that's based in San Diego. I actually got really far through the interview process, and they asked to fly me out for an in-person interview. And so I wasn't really sure that I wanted the job or not, but I figured it doesn't hurt to take the trip out and see what it's like. So I flew over to San Diego for about 2 days, and they put me up in a nice hotel, and I got to kind of walk around. I didn't have time to walk around San Diego, but I walked around this nice shopping complex and got to eat some nice vegan food.
All your memories are food related, aren't they?
I really do love food. And then I interviewed with the company, and I got to see this amazing campus for a biotech company. I guess I would say it was a top moment for me because it was out of the usual activity for me. Normally I wouldn't have even looked at a company so far away from home. And so the fact that I was doing that and I got to kind of go on this like solo trip and try to make a very difficult life choice made it a memorable trip for me. Plus the food was really good. And the hotel was really nice. I felt super fancy.
Do you regret not taking that job?
In
now
some
that certain things have transpired.
So in some ways I regret it because it's easier to fantasize about it and how cool it would be to do it. And that, I mean, that's part of the reason why in the first place I was thinking about it. It's like it's very easy to fantasize about a new life in a fancy state like California, but it's much harder to actually go through with it. But in the end, I don't regret my decision, partly because it would have been a huge hardship on me to try to move there because they were going to try to do it in like 3 weeks. So I would have had to basically pack up immediately and start driving. Partly because there was like a lot of more moments in this year that I would have missed out on.
Plus, the podcast happened after that, I think, right?
I think so, yeah.
Because I remember thinking if
we
wanted
it
to
was
start
right
it,
at
we
that
were going to
time.
have to do some kind of weird over-line podcast.
Yeah,
or
it was
like that.
so when I was taking the trip, this podcast was in the like conceptual moment. But we hadn't recorded one yet. Yep. Okay. So that's 5.
Okay. Well, piggybacking off that, my next one is work-related for myself. My work, I was lucky enough to be sent to a conference for work, and I went to Jackson, Mississippi. And it was the first time I've ever been to a work conference of any, well, yeah, I guess of any size, especially one like this where you fly out and it's about 3 or so days. You stay at a hotel and they have all the conference talks and seminars and things like that. And of course those were nice and great, but the best part of the conference was that every night they had museum excursion trips planned. So you went around to 2 or 3 different museums, and at each museum there was different food related. So here you go, there's a food on Piggy. Taking your things here.
Food is important.
But yeah, they had different drinks at every museum that was catered to the museum. So like the Children's Museum, we had this woolly caterpillar, crazy caterpillar drink or something like that because there were some kind of caterpillars there. But they had signature drinks at each place that were delicious. They had the different food, which was great. And you just kind of walked around to each museum and you could check it out. There was the Children's Museum we went to. There was an art museum. There was a natural history, sciencey museum. And it was just a really great trip. And it was a solo trip. And I've not done one of those in a while, since probably college when I went to Scotland. But it was a nice little time to get away. And it would have probably been higher, except for the fact that when I had to leave, it was during the hurricane down there. So when I left, the last day of my trip was very, very, very stressful because it was me calling the airline companies being like, are you sure that I can get out of here? Because I was flying into Atlanta, which was like into the hurricane.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was very, very rough plane. And I just remember when we were in the air, seeing the rainfall, it was like going horizontally. It like looked crazy. It looked like almost like static outside. Like it didn't look like we were in the air. It just was very creepy. So I was trying not to look outside then because that was a bad idea on my
Wasn't
my
that
part.
hurricane a bust though? Like it wasn't very strong by the time it got.
Yeah, like it didn't hit us or
Didn't even
anything
hit
like
us
that.
at all.
No. It was really concentrated down in that Atlanta region. I don't know if it was devastating or if any of the effects were devastating there or not. But yeah, it was, once I flew out of there, it was smooth sailing. But yeah, that was a kind of stressful last day. But the whole conference itself was really fun. And it was great because I had met someone there and we kind of just stuck together the whole conference. So we had like a little buddy system going, and it was really fun to do. And surprising that it was a work trip. So it was all paid for. It's wonderful.
So did you have a favorite museum while you were there?
Yes, there's a new It's the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum, and I think that's what it's called. But it's really new. It was just released, and it has so much stuff there. It's amazing. But up close second is the Children's Museum, because they had a playground inside, and I got to play on the playground. I'm not sure if we were allowed to play on the playground, but I did anyway. Also, my friend got stuck in the slide too, so I'm pretty sure we weren't supposed to play on the playground. We were a little too old.
Get stuck in a slide? How does that happen?
I don't know. We had a lot of drinks at this point. A lot of drinks. Yeah. Clearly. Climbing up a slide. A lot of things happened. But yeah, that is my number 4.
Okay, my number 4. This one is another potential crossover episode, I think. My number 4 moment of the year is the Bleachers concert. So
that's on my list.
We took a trip to Baltimore, you and I, to go see Bleachers in concert, and I gotta say, didn't really know much Bleachers music up until that point.
Neither did I.
In fact, I'm not really sure why I chose that concert.
I can't remember. I can't remember if... I feel like you said about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I would go to that, but I didn't know that you really knew them that well. And yeah. I only knew a couple of songs.
I remember that I found it, and I asked you if you wanted to go, because I think that I thought you knew more songs. I knew maybe their one radio hit.
And I think I knew their radio hit and one other song.
Yeah. But yeah, so for some reason I decided, I was like, this would be a cool thing to go to. And so we went there to Power Plant Live in Baltimore, and we got to we showed up a little bit early. I had a couple drinks, and we saw the concert. And honestly, I think it's still the best live performance I've ever seen.
I agree. And you know how I feel about Andrew McMahon.
Yeah.
But I mean, I suppose maybe I think this one takes more of a place just because it was so unexpected. I didn't have any...
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to be fun. I was like, it's a cool concert that we can go to. I don't think we'd ever done a concert together before, just us. I was like, this will be fun. And, I know some of their songs. And then it was just it was just, the crowd was great. It was just an amazing show. And even the lead singer had tweeted afterwards saying this was one of the best shows he'd ever done or something like that. There was just it was just a great night, and the feeling was great for everyone, I think.
Yeah, it was really amazing, and I went into it having listened to some of their top hits to try to get familiar with it, but when they actually performed, they had so much energy, and they turned every song into this energetic rock anthem, and it was just really good. Yeah, very memorable concert overall. Yeah,
that's on my number 2. So I'm a little hurt that you didn't put it as high as I put it. So
I knew that would be an issue for this one, but I had to push it down. So
okay, well, so it's my turn then.
Yeah. But
I'm already down one anyway because you told one of mine. So should you go again? Well, no. No, okay.
What?
It's my number 2.
You're on your number 2?
No, I'm on number 3. Who's on first?
All right, you go.
I'll go. I'll do my number 3.
Because you have 2 left?
I have 2 left.
All right, well, whatever. It's
fine. I'll just go. Okay. We can cut it if we have to, a certain way. Okay, so my number 3 is that I went to see Hamilton in D.C. in September of this year. And so I've been, maybe it's been a year, no, 2 years or so since I've got into Hamilton, the play. I got the CD, I think, when I graduated from Masters. You're not gonna know. I'm looking at you for answers,
but
idea. You're not gonna know. Yeah, so I got the CD.
I can't even name a Hamilton song. Not even one.
I mean, you could just say Alexander Hamilton.
Hamilton. Is that a song from Hamilton?
I mean, it's not just called Hamilton. Anyway. Okay. But yeah, so I got the CD, listened to that, and then some of my friends, we all got really into it. And of course, you can't get Broadway tickets for New York. And at that point, I think the original cast had passed. I'm not sure. Not died.
Rest in peace, original cast.
They moved on.
A really unfortunate accident that they all died at the same time.
Oh gosh, what a choice of words. No, yeah, so they moved on and it was a new cast or whatever. But anyway, they now have a traveling cast or something like that, and this was the cast that was in DC at the Kennedy Center. So we bought tickets, which of course were still fairly pricey, even, that they weren't original. But two of my friends, two of my friends, and then our mom came, and it was really great. I will say the seats were very far back, so it was hard to see any of their faces or their expressions, which I think kind of takes away a little bit from how amazing it was. But it was just so nice to, after loving this thing for, a year or 2 years or whatever, to actually see it performed live. And actually one of my favorite memories from it is before we went to the play, we went to Nando's to eat. And
food.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily food related. It's just what happened to get to the food. We had gone to a Nando's and we were coordinating with our other friend who was going to meet us there. And it had been a while, like a couple of minutes, and we were waiting and it came to like a half hour, and we were like, she had said, I'm parking, it will be 5 minutes, and it had been a half hour. So we called her and we were like, are you at the Nando's? And she's like, yeah, I'm right outside the Nando's, but I can't see you guys. And we're looking around and we're like, you're not at the right Nando's. She had gone to a Nando's that was maybe 10 or 15 minutes away from that Nando's.
Oh my God.
Because apparently there's so many of them in the DC area. But it was just so funny because it's something that this friend of mine, she would do that. It's like one of those things that she's the person who would go to the wrong Nando's.
Get called out.
Yeah.
Get called out on our podcast right now.
Oh, it's fine. She'll take it.
Uh-huh.
She'll take it. But yeah, that was really fun, and like I said, that was the moment before then was fun as well. It was just a nice day out. So
I think that you mentioned before that there were some differences with this cast. Did you like this cast more than what you've seen of the originals?
No. And well, I have to say, so I've seen the original cast through like a video on YouTube that
like documentaries and stuff.
Through a documentary, but also like a recorded video that.
Oh, pirating.
I mean, no, I didn't say that. I just saw it on YouTube when it was up at one point in time. I don't know. Who knows where it came from? But it's hard because I know them and I know the CD, which is the original cast version, so well, and I love that so well that it's hard for anyone to take the place of that. But I do remember I liked the Hamilton. I thought he did a really good job. I can't remember. There were some cast members where I thought they just played it differently. Oh, for instance, the Burr. He played it. It was just a very weird way. He kind of seemed whiny and like I can't remember how I described him before. But
isn't he the bad guy though?
Well, depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
I'm a Burr supporter, so.
Oh, you like Burr?
Yeah. I mean, aside from...
You would like Burr. You're exactly the type of person to sympathize with the villain.
No, I think that it was misunderstood in some things, and I can understand his reaction where he's trying his hardest, fighting, and then Hamilton's there every time to stop him and put him down, and it's like, he's trying to, Mm-hmm. I don't condone the whole dueling and killing someone thing. That was definitely bad, but, Anyway, we can talk about that later. You don't want to get me started about Burr. But yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan. Guessed. I wasn't the biggest fan of how he was portrayed, which to me was like, that was really hard then to see since he is one of my favorite characters. But I just think the original guy who does him was an amazing performance. So, but nonetheless, it was great. It was a number 3 on my list.
Okay, so you have your top moment left.
Yes, so you're going to have to do 3 and 2.
Okay, so I'm going to do my number 3 and my number 2 moments. My number 3 moment, this is another friend trip. So my number 3 moment is the rafting trip that we took in West Virginia. So a group of us went... Almost heaven. Sorry.
I'm ingrained. Like that, their tagline is just like stuck in there.
This is probably the closest to heaven that you will get in West Virginia, the place that we stayed.
Whoa, drag them. Other than that, terrible state.
So, anyways, a group of us went to West Virginia. We've been doing this rafting trip annually now for a couple years or so. And we did an all-day rafting trip on Class 5 rapids that are just one of the best rafting spots in the entire country and maybe in the world. We spent the whole day on the river, and then we came back. We got dinner at this really nice restaurant, and food. Yeah, dude, food is so important.
Apparently, our top list is just food.
Food, like,
or just it's food under another name.
It's like yes, every moment is just like food with this group of people, that food with that group of people. But seriously, those are my favorite moments. I think it's like all day events with people and really good food around it. And you can't do that every day, but at least I couldn't do that every day.
Do you think, though, that some of the reason why we enjoy food is tied to the event? Like, for instance, I can just remember, like, I loved this cheeseburger I got in New York one time because I was so hungry, and it was like I was so tired, and I think it was just good because of the circumstances. So I'm wondering if we put the food so high in our mind because we're like, oh, this was a wonderful day, and the food was great. You know, like
it gets like
cherry on top.
It gets like a bonus, a buff for being around a good event, and obviously, yeah, like being hungry makes food taste better. But I think that's like that's okay. It's like a synergistic effect. The whole event is it. They're all good components, and all combined, it makes it a really special event. And this place was really cool. We stayed near a place called Fayetteville, I think, and Fayetteville turned out to be like one of the hippier sections of West Virginia, like one of the more progressive sections of West Virginia. And so we ate at this really trendy restaurant for dinner, like a restaurant with the menu basically that people wouldn't be surprised to see a menu that looked like that in DC. Just the prices are totally different. But we had a trendy dinner. We went to this really cool hippie breakfast joint that had all sorts of vegan options and gluten-free options and shakes and smoothies and just like really good vibe. It was like one of those cafes that they put in a repurposed church. So I like that gives you like such a great vibe for breakfast, I think. And then the other really great thing about it was like immediately after we got back to the hotel room that first evening, we one of my friends had taken GoPro footage of the whole trip on the river, and we had also bought the photos from the trip. So when you're going down the river, they take pictures of you, and you can buy them.
Is the person taking a picture in the raft with you?
No. They have like photographers at like key points on the river.
Like in the river? Like with
like
some like
Rock.
wellies?
No.
Oh.
Like standing on rocks near the edges and stuff.
That's weird. So they place them like on a roller coasters have them, where they have like a
person
right
exactly
near the dip
like
or
that.
Something.
Yeah, but a person instead of an automatic camera. Yeah, so we bought the photos and we watched the videos, and so we're at the end of the day and we're just having a couple drinks and just all gathered around a tiny laptop watching all the video back and just laughing hysterically. So it was like we got to raft twice in one day. So that was a lot of fun. Okay, and back to me.
Yeah, it's all about you.
Number 2 moment of the year. This is another concert, and that's why this edged the Bleachers concert.
I knew it would.
My number 1 concert of the year was Jason Mraz.
Yeah. But I was there, so I'm okay.
And you were there, yeah. But again, I guess both of these performances were like comparable in level of greatness, but Jason Mraz is just my favorite musician overall. So this concert was just hit every note for me. He played all the songs that you would want to hear, old and new, and I don't know if I have much extra to say about it, but it was just a really memorable.
I remember buying very
event.
Expensive drinks.
Yeah, what did we get there? I think I just got an expensive beer.
Yeah, I think I got Did we get like a margarita something?
And
something weird that cost, like $12 for the smallest, like, sippy cup size.
For a margarita?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they gave you a pretty big drink.
Fine, it's relatively big, but not $12 worth.
We did it also, we had pretty good dinner beforehand at the, like, Build Your Own Bowl Asian restaurant.
Oh, yeah, I like that place.
It wasn't, like, absolutely incredible, but this is like, a counter to your point. Like, the concert was great, but it didn't totally elevate the food. The food was just good.
And was that the first time you saw Jason Mraz?
Yeah, so that was the first time I saw Jason Mraz. I actually thought I would never get the opportunity to see him in concert, because I thought I missed his only tour that he was going to have near us, but we got to see this. Does he not normally
come over here?
Well...
He's on his avocado farm too much? Over in California?
I guess, like, he hadn't released an album for a couple years, so I just thought he was done touring. Also, that day, that was the first day that I tried Bud Light Orange. Like they sell Bud Lime?
No.
Okay, so you know what Bud Light is?
Yeah.
Okay, so like imagine
beer.
Like Bud Light, but like with lime flavoring, like artificial lime flavoring.
Okay.
That's Bud Lime.
Okay.
Now imagine like Bud Light with artificial orange flavoring. That's Bud Orange.
Okay.
And it's like also like imagine like diluted lime color.
Okay.
That's the color of Bud Lime.
Okay.
Now, like, imagine, like, a pale orange color.
That's
the color of Bud Orange.
Okay.
So I had Bud Orange before the concert, and that was terrible.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say you liked it. What was this leading up to?
That was it.
I thought you were going to be like, it was the best drink ever, and now I exclusively drink Bud Orange.
No, I had some beer before the concert. I didn't like it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's gross. Okay, it's time for number one. Number one, and it's only going to take 2 seconds because I've already talked about it if we end up putting the podcast about it online. But my number one is going to see Sleep No More.
Of course.
In New York City in November. I don't know how much of this to say since we may put that one up, which explains an Eppy that explains the whole thing.
I think we're gonna keep the other episode for sure, but you can just assume that this one won't go up for a while. So I would recap your top moments.
Well, yeah, I'll just do a quick synopsis of what it is. So essentially, Sleep No More is this immersive play theater experience in New York City. It's a warehouse, I think, that they kind of decked out to be a couple different levels, and there's different rooms of each levels, and you can essentially explore for 3 hours while actors are recreating a play of Macbeth, but it's kind of 1930s, 40s inspired. So it's kind of like a mix up. I wouldn't say it necessarily aligns specifically with the story of Macbeth because I had no idea what was really going on, which I think is part of the point. But essentially, you have 3 hours. They tell the Macbeth story, or a story of some sort, 3 times. So for a whole hour, you have the whole story. And you can go around and you can essentially follow actors. You can go to different rooms. You can just explore. You can touch things. You can look at things. I don't think you're supposed to touch the actors, but you can touch anything around. And it's just a really fun, crazy experience that I would recommend. I still, like I said, have no idea really what it is, but that's part of the allure, I guess, of it. And the really cool thing is that they have these one-on-one experiences that sometimes happens where actors will choose you either at random, or I don't know if they specifically do for some reason, but they'll choose you and they take you somewhere. Normally you go into another room and they give you a one-on-one experience where they typically do like a monologue of some sort and then something else. So I had kind of two one-on-ones, which was really neat. It made me feel very special because I was like, yes, I was chosen.
Twice.
Technically twice and a half.
And a half.
Because at the end, there was a woman who just like held my hand the whole time, which was great. Though very sweaty hands.
Do you think
I had very sweaty hands? Not
do
her.
you count that moment even though she was like, "I'm showing you the door"?
Yeah, I count that moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I do because she had to pick me when I was in one of the rooms and it was still part of the experience, and she like came over and picked me specifically, and then took me there and like was with me the entire last scene, and then showed me politely to the door. Well, actually, we were kind of briskly walking. I don't know how polite it was. Kind of like you're leaving.
A politely brisk pace.
Yeah, please leave. But yeah, so that was definitely a number one experience because it was just crazy. I had no idea really. I had some notion. My friend had told me a bit about what it was going in, but it's just such a crazy experience that nothing I think could have ever actually prepared me for it. And it was so amazing that I have plans with my friends to go back in about 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. We already have plans to go again. And probably will go more, but definitely then. And we actually are going to another interactive play experience of sorts called Unbrunch. The same day we're going to do it, so I'll have stuff to tell you for another Eppy because I'm sure many things will happen there. We shall see, I guess. But yeah, definitely number one.
That's a very good choice for your number one for the year. It's clearly a memorable part of the year, and obviously the fact that you're going back and you're already thinking about going back after that makes it a very important event for you.
Yeah, and I just love that I went with like core friends that I've known since high school, and it was just a weird thing to experience together, and like we spent like the next 2 or 3 days just talking about that, and we still talk about it, and we still talk about the experience or make jokes or something like that, and it's just like a great bonding experience, though we didn't need any more bonding. We're very, very close, but it's just like it's nice that it kind of connects us in another way. So
let me ask you a question about that. This is your top moment of the year.
Yes.
I feel like, I'm not sure if you've described it this way, but I've heard it described as a life-changing show.
Oh, yeah.
So my question is, what do you have any takeaways from that event that like, can you explain a way that it's literally changed your life?
See, that's hard because I wouldn't agree that it's necessarily changed my life in some way that I'm like, I now experience life differently. It's not like I've opened my eyes to the world in a certain way, or it's not like it's caused me to reflect upon myself. I don't now see people differently or experience anything differently. So I wouldn't necessarily agree that it's life-changing in that way, but I mean, it was a event, I guess you would call it. It was just like a special event that was so different from anything else I've ever experienced that in that way it was different. But I don't know if I would say, had I not done it, it's not like my life would be different. It's not like now, I take all the opportunities I can because I know that,
obviously.
I don't know if I couldn't give it too much credit for that, but I will say that it was just it was an amazing experience that I would encourage anyone to do because I think it was just so fun, and it's something so out of the normal of anything else that in that way I could say it would life-changing.
Do you think could you say that it broadened your horizons or made you think that there's more performance out there than you had realized? Or
yeah, I will say that after the fact, thinking about, I think it's amazing to think of all the actors that do that and how just amazing they are to, the dancing, the performing. They're so, I guess, raw, I guess you would say, because they some of the stuff they do is very weird and crazy. And to think that that's their job. I'm sure they probably maybe have other jobs. I don't know if that's their full-time gigs or anything like that. But it is, essentially it's a whole nother form of entertainment that I never thought of. Because you always think of just movies or, I don't know, plays, Broadway plays, which are much more rigid and structured in some senses. They're not, you sit down. It's stationary. You sit, they perform at you. And this is really cool because you're you're kind of a part of it. I mean, you're very spectator, but it's nice because it's almost like a choose your own adventure thing where you can go around and do what you want. So it kind of merges a lot of things. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. I would think that entertainment would be going towards this in the future, that more things would be like this. Because to me, like, and we have such a small sample size, and we'll know better. A lot more people, friends of friends are going for this next trip, and we'll know from that. But I think it's really geared towards our age, this millennial age or what have you. Because I saw a lot that age there, and I just think that we kind of want more engaging and interactive entertainment nowadays. And I'm just thinking like escape rooms. That's something that seems kind of similar to me in a sense, because you're kind of walking around a place, you're looking at things, you can investigate. And this is kind of like an escape room mixed with dancing, mixed with, I don't know, many other things, like it's a kind of hodgepodge of events. But I would think, and it'd be interesting to see, but I would think that this is where maybe future entertainment will be going towards. I could be wrong, though. They could, go bankrupt tomorrow and there's never another one.
No, so. But that's really interesting because that's the first time I've heard anything like that. And it's an interesting point to consider.
It might not be a good thing to put out. I might be wrong, though.
Yeah, but I think it's a very interesting prediction, and like the fact that you noticed that maybe it's more of a millennial trend and a trend towards more experiential things.
Well, I will say, if that is the case, you heard it here first.
Yeah,
all on me. It was me.
If not, delete this.
Yeah, if not, please never bring this up again. So yeah, that's my number one.
So I will say, part of the reason I was asking is because for me, like, some of these moments, I try to take away messages that I carry with me for the rest of the year or my life. And for example, the Jason Mraz concert, obviously that was a really fun concert for me, and I got to hear music that I really love. But one of the things that I always try to take away from his music and from that concert is this very positive, optimistic message that's present in a lot of his music. And so, again, I also wouldn't say that concert was life-altering for me, but whenever I see things like that, it's like a constant reminder of like, hey, there's like lots of good things to be grateful for, and if you use this music as a cue, you can remember that and be happy about it.
Yeah.
So.
Nah, I just think Sleep No More's cool.
Fair enough. I'm prone to overthinking every memory. We could go back through and I'll be like, here's what I was thinking at this point, and here's what I took away from that, and here's how I applied it to the next memory.
That's funny. Okay, yeah, let's hear your number one.
Okay, so my number one, like I said, this is a pretty big cheat in some ways.
I'm already like, I know I'm not going to like this, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you won't like this, but...
This is a cop-out of some sort?
This is something that when I come back, I want to remember this about the year. In late 2017, I came to this decision of, like, what do I want to do in the short-term future? Like, what do I want to do in the next year of my life? What do I want to accomplish? And so, in the second half of 2017, I decided that from that point on, and then all through 2018, I was going to focus on myself and personal growth. And so I was calling it the year of me. And so everything that I did during the year, I wanted it to go towards making myself a better person in some facet of my life. And that's partly why I tried to choose memories or moments from different facets of my life so that I can remember that I tried to improve in lots of directions. So my top moment is not truly a single moment, but my top moment is the year of me. 2018 was the year of me. And so I have kind of like mini things listed on it to kind of remind myself of like what that meant to me. I guess one of the biggest things was that I wanted to figure out more about who I am and what I like to do and what makes me happy. I wanted to really push myself to say yes to more things and to do more things. So this whole year, I tried to go to more concerts than I ever went to, whether that had to be alone or with you or with other people. But I think that's part of the reason that we went to the Bleachers concerts, because I was like, I want to do things. I want to figure out what I like to do. So I went to the Bleachers concert with you. I went to a Quinn concert by myself just because.
Who?
Quinn. It's a guy.
I like how I say who and you just respond with the same thing. Like,
I mean, if you don't know the name, you're not going to know it, right?
He's just one name.
Yeah, he's like a singer.
He's not like a Cher level, though. He's got to go by another name.
Well, he has a unique name, so.
No, not
anyways, he's not. He doesn't deserve this much airtime.
Well, okay. Guess that wasn't a good concert.
I saw the National Symphony Orchestra at Wolf Trap, which was like.
When did you do these things?
I just did things like on the weekends when I didn't have events planned. I would just like pick something and go to it by myself, because I was like, I don't want to ask other people to like lose time on some random event that I'm going to go to, but I just want to try these different things. Mm-hmm. So like that day I went to Wolf Trap, and like I went to see an orchestra perform, which like I don't listen to classical music, but I just tried it. And it was pretty cool. I probably won't do it constantly, but it was...
I'll never do it again, but it was cool.
Wolf Trap is a really cool place.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just wanted to see things. And I also try to make a point of like going to DC more often, because it's like literally in our backyard, and I never go there. So I went and I saw more museums this year than I've ever seen. I went out to eat at some new places just because.
Food.
Again, food is really important. And I didn't let the price tag stop me from trying out these things. Trying to be more social and attend more social events with people, even when I don't like to go to noisy parties.
Even when you hate people. You're like, ugh, people, but
like,
I guess I should go.
I got to do it. And then I think at the end of the year, my biggest takeaway at this point now is like, I have a vision for 2019 of where I want to go from here, and like, where do I want to work, and where do I want to live, and what kind of person do I want to be next year. Yeah, no spoilers for that.
No spoilers.
So that's my loophole number one, but it's really just acknowledgement of any small successes I had towards the year of me.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel a little bad that my number one was Sleep No More, which I said, not life-altering in any means. It was just a fun experience.
Well, it's not, I mean... Talking about it, I can see that it sounds very cheesy to my ears, but I just want to acknowledge that that was something that I had decided upon over a year ago. Mm-hmm. And even though I wasn't consciously thinking about it every day of the year, like when I look back, I can see some of the results.
Yeah. I definitely noticed that
you
were doing things more often.
Yeah.
And we'd text you and you'd be like, I'm in DC right now at a museum. Like,
and you're like, why?
What are you doing there? Like, okay.
Yeah, I did that a couple times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it. That's our top 5 lists.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else to hit?
That was all of mine.
That's everything. You have any other questions? Any things that you forgot to say about your memories?
No, you want to talk more about Sleep No More though?